I am not a die-hard fan of the Terminator franchise, just a couple of cool action movies from my childhood that still hold up pretty well. As for what happened to the universe afterward, I'd rather not even recall it. The third movie was enough to make me lose any interest in following the Connors and their robot companion. That said, I do love strategy games, especially these that steer clear of elves and dwarves, and dive into something modern or sci-fi. That was my main draw to Terminator Dark Fate Defiance. It was being developed by the Russian studio Cats Who Play, known to the solid RTS Syrian Warface. Even before that, some of the developers had worked on Alpha Anti-Terror and Access Code Heaven, which added to the intrigue. It's been 3 years since Dark Fate Defiance was first announced, and for unknown reason, Case Who Play is no longer credited as a developer. According to official statement, the publisher, the British studio Silent completes the game on its own. Unofficially, however, Case Who Play's removal from the credits seems like a formality, as their social media still actively document the development process, but the topic for another discussion. For now, let's talk about the final product that Terminator Dark Fate Defiance turned out to be. So, story and presentations. Cats Who Play has always emphasized storytelling and atmosphere, and it usually pays off. For example, Syrian Warface delivered a compelling narrative, despite the RTS genre being an odd feat. The same applies to Defiance. On the surface, it's a similar RTS, but interaction between the main characters receive almost as much focus as the combat itself. You play as Alex Church, a young officer in the Fauners, one of the few militarized groups maintaining order in what remains of the United States after Judgment Day and its chaotic aftermath. Alex's first assignment is a disaster. Due to some hesitation decision, he put a founder's shelter at risk, and the main enemy, Legion, unveils a shocking new strategy. The deadly machines aren't just killing humans anymore, they are taking prisoners. Figuring out their motives is just the beginning of the Alex journey, which will take him to the numerous settlements, introduce him to the diverse areas, and have him destroy countless keyboards. Surprisingly, the story and the presentation might catch you off guard. There's a proper dialogue system, memorable characters, and missions that sometimes feel more like an adventure RPG. One early assignment involved visiting a cartel base. In this mission, you will explore the map with a small squad and complete objectives, some of which require no combat at all. This experimental approach, reminiscent of a classic Russian game design, impressed me. Many modern games shy away from such risk, sticking to tried and true formulas. However, there's a downside. Like in the old days, you will encounter bugs, such as broken quest triggers. The lack of cinematic cutscenes and the need to closely follow the dialogue might also turn off some players, despite their decent voice acting. A notable feature is the importance of paying attention to conversation. Rushing through the map and destroying everything in a sight can be a backfire. Dialogues often provide clues to make your life easier, and the game offers little mercy even on normal difficulty. Gameplay. This is another drawback for classical gaming. It's been ages since I had to replay mission because of a failure, but there's a norm, especially early on, when you are still learning the value of a certain units or trying to brute force your way through selecting all your troops and sending them to their doom. Let me say you some frustration that won't work, and the gameplay hasn't strayed far from the Syrian Warface. There's no base building or resource gathering. You must rely on the forces you start with. That said, reinforcement often arrive mid-mission, and allied of natural forces on the map occasionally intervene. Natural forces can even become hostile because of your choices of the story, reinforcing the importance of paying attention to mission details. The balance between infantry and vehicles is well done. Vehicles pack a punch, but losing even a powerful tank to an ambush is too easy. Infantry, especially rocket launcher squads, shines as the main counters to keybox. They boom through the machines more effectively than the tanks or EFV, can hide in buildings, less visible to the enemy, and are more mobile. Early on, you will get a play with a Founder's impressive arsenal, including Bradley and Abrams tanks. However, once the campaign transitions to open-world exploration, you will mostly rely on scavengered or purchased equipment, like rusted guns on trailers or reproduced trucks. Soon, your squad starts to resemble a nomadic caravan, taking anything that isn't nailed down. But scavenging isn't the end of it. There's a customization system for vehicles. You might find yourself spending more time in the army, screwing driving rest stops, converting an innocent pickup truck into a death machine. The modular system extends to combat as well. Vehicles need crews, not just soldiers, but trained specialists who can die. Moreover, there is no traditional health bar. A well-placed shot can destroy a vehicle outright or disable its engine, turning it into scrap. This applies to both Legion and other factions. Each faction feels distinct. Their tactics and appearances vary significantly. Take the integration, for example. They are not quite human anymore, using units that blend conventional machines with a Legion technology. So, talking about strategy layer and resource management. Management your army isn't optional. Much of the logistical work, like ensuring supplies and troops, happens on the global map. Here you travel between settlements, trade with locals, upgrade units, and customize vehicles. There are three main resources: manpower, good fuel, and supplies. Supplies determine not only the pace and ammunition, but also how far you can move on the strategic map. There's even some minor branching. For instance, you might have to choose between helping potential allies or ignoring side objectives. Once again, very much in the spirit of a classical game. Graphics and technical issues. Unfortunately, this is where the nostalgia becomes less charming. Even in a screenshot, the graphics looks dated. In motion, it works. While effects like gunfire and explosion are decent, everything else is raw. There are no proper anti-aliasing, and the engine seems to be the same when used in 2008. Many unit building models appear recycled, and performance issues arise during the large battles, even on a decent hardware. Similar complaints could be made about Assyrian Warface. While I could tolerate bugs and outdated visuals, the constant enemy spawns, which turns half the gameplay into the tower defense grind, were more irritating. So Terminator Dark Fate Defense suffers from the same flaws. However, if you can overlook these quirks, you will find a solid game reminiscent of the golden age of the Russian development. So to sum up all of this, pros of the games is a modular vehicle customization, engaging story, challenging battles, and varied units, and cons is outdated graphics, poor optimization, bugs, and weak AI. For the first time in the Cats Who Play project there's a multiplayer. I couldn't find any player in the pre-release region, but the mod deserves attention, as the campaign AI isn't particularly smart. It relies on two tactics: waiting for your attack or spawning reinforcement to march towards mission object. Because of this, gameplay often boils down to micromanagement rocket launcher squads to sneaky destroy heavy enemy units. Terminator Dark Fate Defiance may not be flawless, but it's a decent strategy game, capturing the essence of classic Russian game development. If you can look past the shortcomings, there's a lot to enjoy here. Thank you for watching.